Like, even though I heard the word Dallas, I had to make sure that was God, because I literally was like, Dallas? Who said that? What's up, y'all? It's just Jay, and today I am here filming a video, a highly requested video for you guys. So today I'm going to be sharing with you all some tips that I use to help me move out of state. So if you are interested in something like this, make sure you stay tuned. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It's free. Just do it. It's free. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So I have my notebook here because I did have to write down some notes to make sure I covered everything I found helpful for me moving to Dallas. And so a little bit of backstory, I feel like this is important for me to even share with y'all about why I even moved and how I moved and what made me move, that type of thing. So that leads me to my first tip, is to actually have a reason to be moving. Like, you know, if you can, if you have the leisure to do that, to just be up and moving just because, then hey, go for it. But I have a reason. I felt called, if you will, to move to Dallas. So the backstory is, back in 2018, somewhere around late October, November, I think we were going into like Thanksgiving break. I don't really remember, but I know it was like around October, November. I was intending on going back to school another semester to finish up a minor in business marketing, but just so happened I called. I don't know who I called. If you went to Stillman, and you know, I think I called Mr. Kennedy, and I was trying to move back on campus. I just was in a place where I wanted to save some money. I was tired of paying bills. I just wanted a break before I graduated to save some money. And I think he was like, yeah, it's cool, whatever. So long story short, I end up on the phone with financial aid, and they're like, you don't have no money to go to school unless you're paying out of pocket. They didn't say that, but basically in so many words, that's what the conversation was like. I was so shocked. I was so devastated. Like, this was all new to me. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? After all this, it came down to, hey, you basically are done with school. Thankfully, I had more than enough credit to graduate. I could have graduated the semester before, but like I said, I was going to pursue a minor in business marketing. And so I just took the credits that I had and said, okay, well, I'm done. Well, now that I'm at home, at this point, I'm like back in my apartment trying to figure out my next steps. And because this happened so fast, I did not know my next step. I didn't have a job set up. I just didn't have a plan. I didn't have a goal. I didn't know what I was about to do. So I started looking at jobs in my field. I went to school for health and physical education, or that's what I at least have my degree in. And I was looking for jobs in fields surrounding that topic. And so it wasn't looking really good in Alabama, but you know, whatever. So I just started playing around with other states, just other cities in general, Atlanta, places in Florida, just looking at places close to Alabama. And I hadn't even looked up Dallas. So a couple days later, I started searching again, and I literally heard the word Dallas. Like, could vividly hear the word Dallas in my head or from somewhere. And I'm like, Dallas. Mind you, I didn't know anybody in Dallas. I had not visited Dallas for years. The only time I know that I've been to Dallas was with my dad, because I grew up on the road with him because my dad's a truck driver. So I'm like, Dallas, why not? So that takes me into my second tip, which is knowing where you want to move. Not only do you need to know why you want to move out of state or to another city, but you need to know what city and what state you're trying to move to. Because with that, that's going to help you with all the next steps, okay? Next, once I realized, okay, I want to live in Dallas, I started applying for jobs in Dallas. Like I said, jobs in my field, and even started looking into teaching. So originally when I enrolled in Stillman, I was on track to get my health and physical education degree with a teacher certification, but something happened. Y'all, stuff happens. Just Oh my God. I started looking into how could I become a teacher in Alabama? How could I become a teacher in Texas? And that led me to really how I really got here. So I consulted with Dr. Ward. If you, again, alumni or current student, Dr. Ward is our beloved president. I consulted with her because she's from Houston. I was like, you know, how can I teach? Do you know some programs? Do you know some people? You know, just networking or, you know, trying to figure this whole thing out. And she gave me some information, and long story short, I applied to one of the programs that she told me about, and I went through this long process to even get into the program. Just so happened with the program, you can select up to, I think I had to select like 10 places that I was willing to move to. I didn't have to move, but because I knew I wanted to move to Dallas before even applying, I chose Dallas for my #1. Houston was #2, and I think San Antonio was 3, and Austin was #4. So if I didn't get Dallas, I'm like, at least I'm moving to Texas. Period. So this is way after what I'm about to tell y'all. This is way after. So I did get accepted to move to Dallas, or to get to teach in Dallas. But again, that's a whole nother topic. So before that even happened, I'm still going through the notion of, okay, this program could possibly allow me to definitely get a job in Dallas. But outside of that, I'm going to continue to apply for other positions. But this seemed like the most promising one. So I really was more focused on getting into this program and becoming a teacher. So moving on, I can talk about that all day. So yeah, so I ended up getting a job in Alabama. I was working at the Boys and Girls Club, and this leads me to my next step. I think this is tip number 3 or 4. I'll have them listed in order as I go through. But yeah, get a job, or if you already have a job, start saving money specifically for your move. It's one thing to just be saving money for, you know, some people save just because they want to save, but I feel like it's important to save with intention so that you are very careful with that money, you handle it properly, and also you work towards a goal. Because I mean, it's nothing to just be working and just put money to the side. But what are you putting that money to the side for? Is it for a vacation? Is it for, you know, you try to buy yourself a big gift, a real nice gift or something? Like, what is the money for? So I started saving specifically to move to Dallas. All right, whether I got the teaching job or not, whatever job, I was gonna take the job. But I started saving ahead of time so that I could have extra money. And you want to save ahead of time so that you can have money for your moving expenses. We're about to get into those steps, okay? You need to save. Now, at this time, I didn't really have a budget, but I just started like building an idea of what I might need to save. I feel like you need the other steps that I'm about to give you to really develop a budget the right way. So my next tip is to start apartment searching. So my #1 video on my channel right now, which has over 2,000 views, is my apartment tour video. People love that video. When I realized I wanted to move to Dallas, y'all, I was obsessed with apartment tour videos. I was already loving home decor videos and shopping vlogs and those type of things, so I was already into that. But once I knew I wanted to move, because I knew when I moved to Dallas, I wasn't in no basic apartment. I wasn't staying in no rinky-dink apartment. Nothing is wrong with that if that's your budget, if that's what you can afford. But honey, I was trying to level up, and that's what I did. So yeah, I started looking at apartments online. One thing that's very important is to know what you want and what you don't want or don't need. So one site that I would highly suggest you use if you are looking to move to a new state or city is apartmentlist.com. That website, y'all, my favorite. First thing first, this site builds you a profile. They're going to ask you a series of questions about you, about what your living arrangements may look like. So bedrooms, how many people, pets, budget, of course, location. If you do know where your job is going to be, they will factor in your commute, the different amenities. Do you need a garage, attached garage, open lot parking? They're going to ask you a series of questions, and it's going to help them be able to build the best results for you. And I really, really like that. Even if you create this profile and you don't have a budget yet, as you go through these apartments, make note of how much the apartments cost that you like, And please note that the apartment costs vary. Like what price they show you right now might very well change next month. I do know that apartments are cheaper in the winter and spring compared to summer and fall, because summer and fall is like when a lot of people moving out, people moving in, and so they capitalize on that. They know this is when they get the most occupants, and so they can up the rent. For me, I figured the downtown, midtown, uptown areas would be the best for me, because I still didn't know where I was going to be working. But like I said, I knew I wanted to live downtown at least. And if I couldn't afford downtown, like I said, midtown and uptown would be great options. Those will probably be great options for you if you don't know exactly what neighborhood to live in, because they're going to be the most centrally located. So I knew, okay, well, my budget needs to be fairly, you know, considerable because I want to live downtown. So I knew I couldn't afford a high rise at the time, even though I really wanted one. So just be honest with yourself and be realistic about what you can afford and what you're willing to pay. So another thing, the next tip is that's going to help you build your budget outside of looking for an apartment is considering the salary or the potential salary that you can make from the job that you were looking at. Whatever city, state you want to move to, search for the potential salary or the average salary that you might be making, so that as you're building your budget, you can base it off of that, because this is essentially what you will be making once you calculate it, what you'll be making per month, and that's going to determine what you can afford as far as rent and other expenses. Start furniture shopping. Get ideas on what you want your apartment to look like. Like I said, I spent a lot of time looking for an apartment, and I also spent a lot of time figuring out what I want my apartment to look like. So I started going on websites like Overstock, IKEA, Macy's, TJ Maxx, Walmart. Like I started just going ahead and put stuff in my cart, even though I wasn't buying it. I was like, okay, this is what I want, stuff like this. I want stuff like this. Like I started literally building my apartment from my computer. And y'all, it's crazy because it's not crazy. It's not crazy. It just works. I literally manifested my apartment through my computer and through praying and through visualizing the things that I wanted, like the colors and things that I was putting in my cart, the blacks, the golds, the silver. That is literally how I decorated my apartment when I got it. If you have not seen my apartment tour video, make sure you go watch it. So once I started like putting things into motion, I had to be able to see the things that I wanted. I had to be able to see all the things that I had already started to put into play. So because I wasn't in Dallas, I had to be able to see Dallas to believe that I could have Dallas, if that makes sense. So I'll insert a picture, if I have it, of my vision board from 2019. So now it's like January, I created a vision board. So I had a picture of Texas. I had a picture of the dog I wanted, the car I wanted. I actually even had a picture of an apartment that looked like the style that I wanted. I put pictures and words on my vision board that were relative to my life and the things that I wanted at that time. And it's like I literally manifested it. So yeah, make a vision board. You don't have to do it the old school way by putting it on a poster and cutting out stuff. You can actually go on some website or just do it on your computer or on your phone and create a little thing, a little collage on your phone. You can do this on Pinterest, you can do it on Canva, you can just simply make a PowerPoint with images and words that are relative to the things that you're wanting regarding your move. I prayed a lot. I prayed to God. I prayed a lot. I prayed over everything that I wanted. It wasn't just about getting the things that I wanted, but praying for guidance and directions. Also listen to podcasts, things that I still do. Listen to podcasts, listen to sermons, watch sermons on YouTube. Just being intentional and engaged with the divine, because I wanted to make sure this was a divine decision. Next step, plan a visit. Y'all, this is so important. If you can afford to go to the place that you say you want to move to, go. If you've never been, go. And even if you have been, go again, but go with the intention of learning the city, exploring the city. Treat this trip like a business trip. You are going for a greater purpose. Like, yeah, you can have a little bit of fun, but be very intentional, because I feel like the way I came and visited the city is the way I live my life once I move to the city. Okay, so yeah, I plan to visit. So around this time now, it's like still like January, February. I think it's like February at this point. So me and my mom planned a trip to come to Dallas in March of 2019, and we flew out. And like I said, yeah, we explored, and we only toured like 3 apartments. So remember I told you I did this list with apartment list. I had so many apartments on there. Now, one thing that I did not mention about apartment lists is like that I really love is as you go through these different apartments, you can put them into 3 categories. You can put into your love list, your maybe list, or your no list. After I put apartment in no, I didn't go back. If I put it in maybe, I would double check and make sure I didn't want to put it to love. But most of the time, if I went through it in maybe, I just went ahead and pushed it over to no. So that way I had more got the maybes out, and I could just have my love list and my no list. And my no list, like I said, I didn't even look at no more. I just focused on my love list. So once I started going through and trying to make my love list shorter, it made it easier for me once I came to Dallas to figure out what apartments I wanted to look at, because I didn't want to be looking at 10 different apartments and I was only here for 3 days. Like, no. So we came on a Friday and we didn't leave until that Monday. So that gave us ample enough time to, you know, explore and, like I said, and visit these apartments. So I did not plan on applying for the apartment that I had, but I did. Like, I literally, it was spur of the moment. I feel like it was a true test of my faith, because I didn't even know if I was gonna get it or not, because I hadn't even got hired yet. At this point now in this process, I found out that I was gonna be moving, or that I was going to be teaching, and I knew what my potential salary would be. So when I did the application, I hadn't even started teaching. I hadn't got no check, hadn't went through no training or nothing yet. I'm just applying based on potential income. So some places, if you just talk to them about your situations, let them know, hey, I live in this place, I'm here just visiting, I might move here, I might not, I don't know. Because a lot of times people are already waiving the app fees anyway. They're waiving admin fees and those things. So if they have some type of special going on and you feel like you can apply, go ahead and apply. That does not mean that you have to move into the apartment right then. That just means that you basically secure your spot. April, May came around, and then I went ahead and signed my lease. I did all this online, so you could do e-documents and all that stuff right from where you already are. Like, I didn't have to keep coming back and forth to Dallas. So don't think that just because you're trying to move to another city or state that you gotta go back and forth to handle business. And that's exactly what we did. And so with that, that's when I started preparing for my move in. I'm like, okay, now I basically have an apartment. I didn't have the keys yet, but I had signed the lease. So the apartment was mine. I just had to go back to Dallas and get the key. So I was like, I ain't no going back and forth. When I go back to Dallas, I'm staying. So this leads me to my next tip. Map out your actual move. Like, so once you get a move-in date, or set your move-in date. All right, so you set a move-in date. You need to know the exact distance from where you already are to where you're trying to go. So with that too, you need to know if you have a car or vehicle, are you going to drive to this place? Are you going to fly yourself? Do you need your car to be delivered or transported? Like, all these things need to be factored in, and this may increase your budget. So that's why I say you want to give yourself ample time. If I did not say that, you want to give yourself, I would say, minimum 6 months to plan for a big move. But if you've just been saving money like that and you have the extra money to push over into another savings, then great. But like I said, I was figuring this thing out as I went. So now I had to factor in the actual moving expenses. So a U-Haul, are you going to get a U-Haul? Are you going to have people to help you? Do you need to hire a moving company? You need to start researching all that stuff and communicating with those people. So a lot of these websites like U-Haul, you can get an estimate, you can get a quote online. For me, because Dallas wasn't that far from Alabama, it was only a like 8-hour drive. So I had my car, and for me, it was more affordable for me to just drive my car instead of having my car delivered. Me and my mom drove her car, I drove my car. We packed both of the cars up with all my essential items. which is, this is a side tip, really important. Leave stuff that you do not need. If you don't need it, if it's not essential, leave it, throw it away, or sell it. You want to make this move as efficient as possible. You don't, because if you're like me, I didn't have a lot of help. It was literally just me, my mom, and my brother that did this move. And once I got to Dallas, I moved by myself. So, but I didn't take no furniture. Even though I had my own furniture and stuff when I was living in Alabama, I left all the furniture because I wasn't trying to do all that. Like, I wanted this move to be, I wanted to spend as much as my money as I could while I was in Dallas and just worry about furniture and stuff when I got there. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this video is helpful. I wish you the best in your move. Comment down below if you plan on moving to a new city and state. Let me know where you plan on moving and when you think about moving. And like I said, let me know if this video was beneficial to you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, stay blessed, stay beautiful. Bye.